see the students waving. My name is Deneen Diamond. I'm the lead for the Center of Excellence for Health. I have started the recording button just so that you know. We are very excited to be here. It is a wonderful opportunity to celebrate medical lab folks that work in our industry, but also help educate our students in the province. So we have my two beautiful partners, NBCC and Horizon Health, who are here to help celebrate Medical Lab Week. And we are going to learn so much about what these folks do in the labs and how it actually works in the job setting. So not only you're going to find out what you need to get into programs and what the program looks like, you're going to hear from students and you're going to hear from employees about what it actually feels like, which is so important when you're making decisions. So with that said, I am going to hand it over to Tammy Black, who is the chair for the Allied Health Department of NBCC. Over to you, Tammy.
Thank you so much, Deneen. The New Brunswick Community College has a role in ensuring that there are enough medical laboratory professionals in the province of New Brunswick. So with our students, the goal of NBCC is to provide them with a world-class education in medical laboratory science in order to prepare students for entry to practice to medical laboratory assistant or medical laboratory technology. So with us, we deliver classroom, virtual, lab, and clinical courses. And because there are clinical courses, we have a partnership with Horizon Health Network. And that's because they provide the clinical sites for our students to practice their specific, specialized skills in a real clinical setting. As the largest health network in the province, which is Horizon Health, and also the NBCC School of Health and Wellness largest external partner, Horizon Health Network, including but not limited to such hospitals as the St. John Regional Hospital, Fredericton, Moncton, Miramichi, and Upper River Valley, is also our key employer for new graduates from medical laboratory assistant and medical laboratory technology. So today, I'd like to introduce Rachel Colpitz and Vanessa Sweet, both coordinating instructors for the Medical Laboratory Assistant and Medical Laboratory Technology programs at NBCC.
Thank you, Tammy. So hello, everyone. My name is Vanessa, as Tammy said. I'm going to walk you through a little bit about what the professions are and what we do here at the college. If you want to come and train with us to be a medical laboratory professional. So medical laboratory assistant, medical laboratory technology. We are medical laboratory professionals, but that's often we often refer to ourselves as MLA or MLT. You'll hear me say that a few times here in this presentation. So who are we? What do we do? We perform a crucial role in healthcare. We do testing. That's what we do. If you can, I often say, if you can ooze it, we can test it, because anything that comes from the body goes to the lab and can be processed for testing to give healthcare providers information to make decisions about your health and treatment that you might need. So we have a high degree of knowledge in areas involving analytical processing, so testing. There's a lot of technicalities because we have lots of technology. Communication has to be strong because we have to be able to communicate with other healthcare workers to help get you that good healthcare that you want and need. We have to be adaptable, and we have to be critical thinkers as well. It's a fast-paced environment in the lab, so if you like that kind of thing, this might be a job for you. It's demanding, but very rewarding. And I think I speak for all of our instructors here at the college when we say that we really love what we do. And we hope that if you get interested by anything here today, that you might come in and see why and how we love it as well. So we work with lots of technology. As I said, there's always new technology coming in. We work individually, but we also have to be able to work as a team. So that's a bit about the profession, but I mentioned the specialty areas, so I'm going to do a real rapid fire here of what those areas are. Because if you work as an MLA or an MLT, you can, for the most part, get to work in one of these areas, and you get to kind of deep dive into what they do. So what do they do? We have clinical chemistry, so there's lots of computers and technology in this area, probably the most out of all of the areas we have. If you've heard of someone having a blood test before for maybe blood sugar or glucose, as we would call it in the lab, that's kind of where that testing would happen in this clinical chemistry area. We also have something called histotechnology, so lots of colors. This is where biopsies would go. So if anyone's ever had a biopsy from any tissue in the body, that would get sent to this area. And what we would do is stain it with a bunch of chemicals so that under a microscope, it would look different enough that it can be diagnosed if need be. So on the left here, there's a picture of, it looks like little flowers. It's actually mucus producing centers in a colon. So there's some cool, wild, and wonderful things we do in that area of lab. In hematology, is the place where we look at blood under the microscope. So if you ever had blood work done, you might recognize these tubes down here. A very common test that gets done and sent to this area of lab, and we look at it under a microscope. And what you see on the right, those red blobs are what we call red blood cells. So that's what gives your blood the red color. And all these other purpley blue things are what we call white blood cells. And part of your job would be to, as a tech, would be to, as an MLT, would be to identify what they are and give that information to your healthcare provider. In microbiology, bugs and colors, I call it, because germs, bugs, bacteria, we usually use those words interchangeably. If you ever had throat swabs done or anything like that, you're peed in a cup for a urine sample, those kind of things go to micro. We get lots of wonderful samples, not just blood. We put them on, we apply them to things we call plates, like these red circles down here, and then we do something called streaking, all those lines you see there, and basically use that to kind of start doing testing to figure out what bug it is so that we know what antibiotic we can help or aid with the treatment for your doctor to prescribe to you. We also do some microscopic work. That's what these little purple circles are up here and red or pink little rods. So that's all part of what we do in microbiology. Transfusion medicine is another area. If you might even know your own blood group. I'm O positive, maybe you are, maybe you're AB pos, like this unit of blood on the right here on the slide. Those letters and that pos neg represent two different blood groups in your body, but there's a bunch more. And that's what's going across the top of the left-hand side of the screen here. So in this department, if you needed to get blood, if you ever had known someone or that needed a blood transfusion, we want to make sure we match blood we're giving you to what your blood groups are. So if you've ever done Sudoku, this might look kind of similar, but it's much more detailed. So this area of lab is very much on the basis of investigation, a lot of puzzle work kind of thing. We also do phlebotomy. Both MLA and MLT professions can draw blood or collect blood. So that's something else we teach you when you come to our program. So in saying that, what do our programs look like? MLA is about a year. Most of your training happens in St. John on site. And at the very end, there's 7 weeks where we send you to a clinical partner, Horizon, as you'll hear about later. At the end of the program as well, there is a national exam for both programs, but we get you all prepared for that. So that happens at the very end of the program, and we run Monday to Friday, mostly 8 to 4:30. MLT, we do a lot of testing in MLT, so it takes a bit longer. So that's why this program is 2.5 years. Same idea though, you do most of your training here, and then we send you with clinical if there's a national exam, and we work Monday to Friday, 8:30 to 4:30 as well in terms of your classes and your training. Both programs, MLA and MLT, start with foundational courses at first. So you start together in the same classroom and you learn laboratory basics. There's some theory, there's some lab. Safety is big with us. We go over that a lot. Math, chemistry, and biology are big in our program. So I like mentioning that as well. We do have some online courses. And then I said at the end, we have that clinical portion. So it's usually with Horizon. We do online courses while you're out there to make sure you stay current on all the information we gave you. And when you're in clinical, you see everything and more. I think I speak for all of the instructors too, and I say we get a little jealous. We want to go to clinical with you because there's lots of cool stuff that happens out there. Things I like to leave kind of these talks with is just some tips that if you were to come with us in this program, we always recommend you stay nice and organized because we have a busy program. And we ask that you don't wait for help. And I say that because there's lots of supports at NBCC that are available to you, and we want you to use them. That's what they're there for. So your instructors might be a little naggy in terms of like getting in touch with you and saying, hey, so-and-so, I think you might be best supported with this resource that we have available. But otherwise, they're accessible by students as well. So all those things are available to help you be successful. And I always try to remember to tell people to remember to breathe. It is a busy program, yes, but your instructor's been there too. We sat in the very seats that you might be sitting in if you come train with us. So we know what it's like in that regard, firsthand experience that way, and we want to make sure you're successful because your success is our success. I do have some resources here, but I'm going to keep moving on because I know the slide will get to your teachers if you have any questions. And I'm just going to switch my screen to show you a little tour that Rachel's going to do of our spaces for training upstairs.
All right. Welcome to the third floor, which is our medical lab area. So this is where we do all of our lab work. As you can see, you get to wear a lab coat in this job. No lab coats past this point. Safety reasons, we have to stay in our lab coat. So we're just going to show you a little bit around and talk a little bit about the labs that we do. So in here we have our microbiology lab. We're not going in there today because, as you can see, there's a lot of restrictions and everything there. But in microbiology, this is where they will grow bugs. Anything that gives you an infection, they will grow it on a plate. And as my colleagues like to say, this is where we grow stuff and make it real happy, and then we kill it. Because we want to find out what does kill it so that we know what medicine to report to the doctor to give to you to make you better. So it's very, very neat in here. In this lab, we do a number of different things. We do something called urinalysis, where they look at your pee to see how it looks and what's going on. You can tell a lot about a patient from their urine. We also do transfusion medicine. You've probably heard about transfusing blood units, needing donated blood. And there's a lot that goes into checking for all of those things to make sure that it's safe to give to a patient. So this is actually what we do in here in this lab. This is what they learn. Now we have some cool things to show you down this way. In this lab, we do histo and hematology, so that is the study of tissue, preparing tissues, and of blood. So come on over here and you can have a look at some of what we do with tissue. So when they take tissue from a human patient, though it would be the same with vets as well, they take tissue and they cut off a little piece, and we have to do all this heavy processing to it and then put it in these wax blocks so that we can cut it. And that's so that it has support so that we can make it into a slide like this. And then we can put it on a microscope, and a doctor can look at it and determine if a patient has cancer or other various diseases and things that might be happening in the tissue. This one's really cool. You should go down. The cerebellum, it looks like a tree. That's a part of the brain. And it just looks so neat. So we also do something called staining for those, which gives them color so that you can see what's happening and differentiate. You can tell the difference between different parts. Another thing that we look at is hematology. So we look at blood under a microscope. And on this screen here, we have some blood. We basically put it on a slide really thinly. And these circles here are red blood cells, so they're what carry your oxygen and let you breathe. These are neutrophils. They are white blood cells. They help protect your body from infection. And then these little spots right here, these little tiny ones, are platelets, and they help your body clot so that if you are bleeding, they help you form that scab to keep the bleeding from happening. We study that too. Next, we are going to move on to chemistry, where we have another cool little thing to show you. And in chemistry, they look a lot at blood samples, and they're looking for things in your blood that will help them determine causes of disease. So there's all kinds of things in there that we look for that can tell people if they have, say, diabetes or liver disease or anything like that. I'm going to show you how those tests work. So basically, we have a chemical that will react with what we're looking for. And it will react with only what we're looking for, not everything else. So in this vial, I have this funky looking yellowish liquid. That's just protein. And I have this nice pretty blue liquid. And this blue liquid, there's a chemical in it that reacts with protein. And you will see the difference. Are we in focus? Mm-hmm. Right away it changes color. So whenever there's protein present, it will change color. And the darker color it changes, the more protein is there. And that's what we actually use to measure all kinds of things in your blood when we are looking for disease or conditions. And of course, safety first. You're in school and your instructors are like, oh no, you're handling water, you need to put on your safety goggles. We do the same thing here. So they're not just joshing you. All right. Thank you very much for joining us here. We have a little presentation from one of our MLA students, actually, to let you know what MLA is like out in the field. And we're going to cut to that now.
Hello, my name is Evan, and I've just completed the Medical Laboratory Assistant program at NBCC. So, what is a medical lab assistant? We handle all of the pre-analytical procedures. This can be collecting specimens, planting bacteria onto plates, and staining slides to make it easier for the lab techs to see cells. We also help with organization and documentation to keep the lab running smoothly. Before taking this course, I had no idea just how much a med lab assistant has to know and do. A lot of it is really fascinating, like learning how to identify some common microbes we may come across. It was also really surprising to learn that MLAs get to draw blood. That ended up being my favorite part. The program is only 2 semesters, packed with everything you need to know. That can be a little daunting, I know. But I found the use of mnemonic devices to be incredibly helpful for remembering things like the order of tubes to use in phlebotomy. Hank Green's Crash Course is another great study tool, or you can get help from the professors directly. Going from the classroom to the lab is the most exciting part, and that's why it's important to show your preceptors that you are interested. You want to soak up as much information and experience as you can. That effort and curiosity can really go a long way. While this job isn't the most well-known, it's as rewarding as it is important.
All right, and with that, I'll pass it back over to Deneen.
Awesome. Thank you. And your student was so excited to tell us about his journey. I'm really excited. And the tour, I know that I've been there in person, but hopefully the students that are watching got a little taste of what it's like to be in the labs at NBCC. So thank you so much, Vanessa and Rachel. And now I am handing it over to Paula Tuman, who is here from Horizon Health Network. She is an education placement specialist and also works for talent acquisition and recruitment. I always have a hard time with that. So Paula wears many hats for Horizon Health, and we are very blessed to have her here with her busy schedule. So handing it over to you, Paula. Oh, you're on mute, Paula. That's okay.
Of course. Sorry. I was too excited to get started. So I'm on the talent acquisition team at Horizon Health Network. Our engagement with prospective talent begins as early as high school through Promote 150, continues through the education placement process in college or university, and then higher upon graduation or after work experience is achieved. Horizon Health Network hires medical laboratory technologists and medical laboratory assistants in our acute care hospitals, such as the Moncton Hospital, the St. John Regional Hospital, the Dr. Everett Chalmers Regional Hospital in Fredericton, the Upper River Valley Hospital in Waterville, and the Miramichi Regional Hospital. As well as in our community hospitals in Sackville, St. John, Sussex, St. Stephen, or Muckto and Perth Andover, and of course in some of our community health centers around the province. Before I share with you the career exploration opportunities Horizon Health Network has to offer high school students, let me share with you a brief video of Tara Morrell, who was once enrolled in the NBCC Medical Lab Assistant Program and is now working at the St. John Regional Hospital.
So some things that I wish I knew before starting the course was, I guess, how difficult it would be. And there is quite a lot of work to it. Having said that, there is quite a lot of resources that are available to you. There is a lot of support with the instructors. There is also tutoring that's available. And also, if you are a student with disabilities, there is lots of outside resources that can help provide you with additional support and equipment for use at school, like laptops, noise canceling headphones. And there's also additional grants and resources for equipment that you would need to use for persons with disabilities for school as well that could make it a lot easier for the program. So what surprised and interests me most about the program is all the hands-on work that you actually do upstairs in the lab at school, when everything comes together from what you've been learning in the classroom. And I really, really enjoyed my time doing the actual hands-on lab work. So some of the strategies for myself that I found really helpful with the program is doing flashcards and just memorizing keywords and key phrases little bits at a time, and short spurts in studying, whether it be 15 minutes, half an hour, 45 minutes, whatever works best for you, with some time to decompress a little bit in between so that's not so overwhelming. So now that I'm working for the lab, never ever be afraid to ask questions. Everybody's always willing to answer questions and help you in any way. Healthcare is always changing, always evolving, and there's always learning to be done in here. So never be afraid to speak up or speak out.
As New Brunswick Community College staff mentioned, we support post-secondary students with the clinical placement requirements that are part of the MLA and the MLT training program. I am one of 3 education placement specialists who make up Horizon's education placement program. Erin Morgan and I have the important role of receiving education placement requests through Horizon's education placement portal, and working with each department manager and the school to coordinate these experiences in our healthcare facilities all over the province. Let me tell you how we support high school students in our healthcare facilities with career exploration journey.
Paula, I'll just interrupt there. We can see your slides on the side. Maybe just start from that current slide.
Absolutely. Hold on. Again, got too excited.
It's all right. There you go. Perfect.
Thank you. Thank you. So Horizon will participate in the practical education of a student through the cooperative education experience, through the engagement day experience, and through the job shadowing experience. Cooperative education is a grade 12 course requiring a placement with an employer and is delivered at most New Brunswick high schools. High school cooperative education at Horizon is a carefully coordinated 14-week placement for students interested in the healthcare industry. Each student receives a personalized schedule identifying where they must be every day and which professions they will be exposed to. We offer this opportunity to morning students in both semesters. Engagement Day is a carefully coordinated one-day placement where students are exposed to several careers over a period of several hours in a Horizon facility. It is also an opportunity for teachers, especially those who have an influence over student career exploration or student course selection, to learn the same and more. Today, I want to speak to you more so about job shadowing experience. Job shadowing is a one-day placement in a Horizon facility to gather further information about a career of interest by observing and asking questions. The experience varies in length from 1 hour to an entire shift and will be completely observational. As a high school student, you will ask your teacher to initiate a job shadowing request on your behalf in Horizon's Education Placement Portal. Your teacher will discuss with you first Horizon's prerequisites. You are entering a healthcare facility. Your safety and the safety of our patients and our staff is very important. As an employee of Horizon, I was required to provide proof of immunizations and language proficiency. The same applies for students. These prerequisites are required to limit risk. Childhood immunization, a student is not required to submit proof. However, without childhood immunizations, is not permitted to complete a placement in Horizon facility. Childhood immunizations is defined as immunizations against red measles, rubella, mumps, tetanus, diphtheria, pertussis. The seasonal influenza vaccine and the COVID-19 vaccines are not mandatory, but strongly recommended. Proficiency in English. The language of work throughout Horizon Health Network is English in accordance with the Official Languages Act and the Regional Health Authorities Act. Student or learner must be able to meet the minimum linguistic proficiency required if their primary language of communication is not English. Your teacher will discuss with you, secondly, your interest in the healthcare industry, clinical or non-clinical, and how you have prepared prior to this request. You will identify the career that interests you. Horizon will identify the departments that can provide a suitable exposure to the profession. You will share with your teacher what research and activities you have undertaken to learn about the career you are asking to observe. Having already researched the career of interest prior to being matched with Horizon staff, you will be able to share in a meaningful dialogue and ask questions that are important to building on and validating what you have already learned. An application for a job shadowing experience should not be initiated in Horizon's education placement portal unless these prerequisites are satisfied. With a request submitted in the portal by your teacher, you will then be invited into Horizon's education placement portal to complete the information sheet. The education placement agreement, which includes our confidentiality declaration of understanding. You will also receive by email the job shadowing welcome package. This communication will tell you what you need to know prior to your arrival and throughout your scheduled visit. We'll also share with you a couple of policies for your review: confidentiality policy and Horizon's dress code policy. Oh, I guess I was speaking faster than the slides. Here we go. I'm going to the next slide because we already talked about this one. So here is our website address. We are presently rebranding and anticipate our content to be ready for the new school year. Here is the link through which teachers will gain access to our portal. And here is our generic inbox if you have any questions.
I'm on mute now. Amazing, Paula. Thank you so much. You answered my questions on the very last slide about how teachers can contact Horizon and get more information about the portal. I know that is a lot of information for students and teachers to absorb in a 30-minute span, but we are here for questions. If students want to ask questions or teachers want to ask questions, I certainly we have some time here to answer those, and we can keep the chat open. So if you want to place it in the chat, or if students feel confident and want to put the camera on and ask a question, you're more than welcome to do that as well. And I'm just looking in the chat, and we have teachers that have lost power. Oh, my soul. That's not good. They will have to watch the recording. So any questions at all for Paula or Vanessa or Rachel or Tammy? Now is an opportunity. If this is something that you're thinking about, something that you are just exploring, certainly we can help connect you to folks as well. And in the chat, it says, is the education portal open for this year or next fall?
We are currently accepting job shadow requests. As long as they meet the prerequisites, we can definitely look at what we're able to accommodate from here to the end of the school year.
Awesome. Thank you, Mr. Hunter. And that's a great question, because a lot of students and teachers are aware that we're able to do some of these placements, but there are some prerequisites that Paula spoke about that are very important for not only the employee to have an experience, but also the student. Because what we have learned through our research and through offering these opportunities is that the more that students invest in the opportunity, the more experience and the more meaningful that opportunity is for them. So it's really important to take a look at what it is that you're interested in, do a little research on your own, find out a little bit about it. This is a great session to start if you're interested in medical lab work, and then dive into an experience when you have some of that background knowledge. Any other questions? See, a couple teachers have signed off, and that has to do with schedules. I am going to put a survey in the chat, and that's just for teachers to fill out. We always love to get feedback from the teachers regarding our sessions. I will be sending out the recording as well. So if you have a session with a healthcare class or a biology class and you want to watch this with your students, that recording will be sent to everybody that registered by tomorrow morning. So I'm really excited and thankful to have everybody that was here. And I hear there's another question. Is the education portal open to other careers in health besides lab tech?
Yes. So medical laboratory assistant and medical laboratory technologist are two of the 150 careers that we have at Horizon Health Network. So we definitely do promote all that we have.
Yes, and that's what's so neat about Horizon Health and their 150 program is they're promoting all 150 opportunities to work in their hospitals and in their locations. So definitely a very long list that students could take a look at, and probably an interesting activity to do with students in your classroom if they're looking at going into the medical world, or maybe just want to work in a hospital. And what does that look like, or in a facility? So there's lots of different job opportunities. Paula did mention that their website is going to be ready in the near future, and that'll give you a lot of information about the Promote 150 program. Yes, good to know as an essential skills teacher. Excellent, Mr. Hunter. I agree. With that, I think we will end the session. I'm going to ask my presenters to stay on for a minute, and we'll stay on if any of the teachers want to stay on for specific questions. I know sometimes people don't want to ask on a recorded session. I am going to stop recording in just a minute, but from Deneen Diamond and the Center of Excellence for Health, thank you so much to my folks from NBCC and Horizon Health, and also to the teachers who made time to be here today and learn a little bit about the medical lab world and what does it look like and what does it feel like. I'm really excited about having this recorded, but also exposing students to the beautiful job opportunities in the field. Have a great day.
Thank you for your time, all.